Hello, Circle Fam. Welcome to another. That was pretty bad.
That was very enthusiastic. Holy shit.
I know, coming from just silence. Once again, hello, Circle Fam. Welcome to another episode of the Circle Podcast. My name is Daniel, and I will be directing today's episode. I'm here with two of my best friends / co-hosts.
Hola. My name is Phillip. Nice to talk to y'all again.
Buongiorno. My name is James. Real quick, before anyone forgets, please follow us on Instagram, Circle Podcast _. We have content coming out almost every day, so make sure to follow.
And if you are listening through the speakers of your car or through your headphones, don't worry, they are not broken. That is just the fucking room that we are sitting in at this current moment. There's a bird trapped in the ceiling or something.
That's just screaming nonstop.
Or there's a beehive in the ceiling of the walls.
It's just a hive of flies. Like,
just a bunch of gnats.
That's what it sounds like.
Just
it's
squealing gnats.
And there's something growing in the ceiling. Anyways, yeah, we relocated today for recording, but we will return to normal
trailer studio.
Yeah, next week.
The thing about our studio being a trailer is that sometimes someone takes their trailer and we're out of studio.
But anyways, yeah, so we just needed to address that so you guys don't get concerned. I don't know what I'm saying.
Confused,
I have to be honest, I'm a little nervous. I think did you guys feel nervous hosting your episodes?
Nope.
Not really, no. I come prepared.
Well, I was nervous because we were playing that game and I didn't know what I was going to say.
Yeah. Oh.
Maybe it's because of the new location.
What episode was it that... I think it was your episode that I got nervous. Because I was like, oh, fuck, I'm about to willingly play a game that's going to ask me questions that I have no idea what these questions are going to be. Yeah.
That game is dangerous.
So we're going to get to the main... And I'll explain what the main point of this episode is, and you'll find out later towards the end of the episode. But I'm going to start off with some simple questions, and hopefully you guys will catch like the gist of what this will be. So, simple question. How do you go about fixing a problem? Generally.
How do I go about fixing a problem?
Just in general, you know.
The one thing I try to do is not to begin to overthink it. You know, I try to like make it as simple as possible, and then I try not to let if it's a personal problem or if it comes to work, I try not to immediately jump to conclusions or start blaming people. You know, I don't try to jump to conclusions, and I don't try blaming people, and then I kind of do it as like how I would my task for the day. You know, when it comes to work, we're like, okay, we need to get this, and then what's the most important thing that needs to be done first? So I would do the same thing with a problem. You know, what's the most important thing that needs to be, yeah, and then I would, you know, attack it that way.
Okay. One thing that I've realized, whether it's within like a problem like math or computer science, or it's like a social problem or some internal problem, it always boils down to one specific hurdle or like a choke point. And that's one thing that I've like a pattern that I've realized. So I usually try to first identify what that choke point is and then approach it from there, because it's usually there's a whole bunch of other stuff that distracts you, kind of like what you kind of going with what you're saying. The most important thing, there's going to be stuff that distracts you, but once you focus on the choke point, it usually becomes clear what you need to fix.
We are moving in the right direction. So you would say there's a stepwise process, and there's also like fundamental things you keep in the back of your mind. You know, certain. It's how you approach things.
Yeah.
So the choke point, would you say that's kind of like a foundational, like a problem at the foundation, like the source? That's where the main issue is.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is that I learned this from from programming, because a lot of these companies, you have to do technical interview questions. So they're going to ask you a question and they're going to say, solve this problem. And that's a skill that you learn, is that there's going to be one specific part of that problem where that's the real problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's funny because a lot of people will think, oh, why do I have to do these stupid technical interview questions? But it's kind of like, it's a pattern, you know, things that you find in one topic, you're going to find in others. And I kind of find that in life too.
There's a variation. There's some sort of variation, but there is definitely a commonality.
Yes, that's the word, commonality. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, there are many conflicts in this world. But yeah, there is definitely a commonality between the wide array of issues we encounter on a day-to-day basis. For example, politics, it's very variable. Pollution, global warming. There's like some type of common source or some type of common process, because these issues can either be resolved, narrowed down to a more efficient idea, or in other words, progression. But regardless, you're moving forward by approaching, or at least attempting, because you can eliminate an ineffective attempt and say that didn't work out, and so you're one step closer. So with many, I smack my lips, I just realized. Dude. And it's every time I do that, I just remember Andy.
I thought Andy's still here.
Yes, yeah. You and Andy smack your lips so much, man.
On the last episode, I can hear like breathing. I don't know if you can hear. It's like
I don't listen to our episodes, to be honest.
I don't know.
Andy does that all the time before he answers. He does a deep.
His big ass nose, bro.
It's kind of like a whistle.
Sucking the air out of the room.
You can kind of hear like a whistle in the breathing, like inhaling through your nose. You kind of hear like a small
whistle.
Listen to dude. I'm telling you right now, and you're like, what the hell? It's gonna be so obvious once you listen to the last episode.
No, you did it again. You guys always smack your lips before you start a sentence.
I also don't like how I say like so much.
Yeah, you still say it a lot, bro.
Trust me, we don't like it either.
That's my goal for the rest of this year, is to become more well-spoken.
That's a solid goal.
So we have all these issues, and I know. Back to the point.
Yeah.
He immediately starts being punctual.
We have all these. What do you feel that maybe people get overwhelmed? Is that why, it's kind of like a big thing, or that's why there are reasons why people get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But that's what you would say, right?
Yeah, that, and they lack the ability to problem solve.
It's definitely a skill. And I think another big thing is people get impatient.
Right.
I've realized for myself that that's a big one, is being able to approach a problem already with the expectation of, I might not solve this today, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like I could come back to it.
It's kind of just narrowing it down.
For me, in my field, when it comes to patience, it comes to the idea of planning. If you plan something out accordingly, where you have everything that you need and you do the job properly, then you shouldn't, because when you need patience is when there is a problem. And the whole idea is to not have a problem, especially in construction, because once you have a problem, then it's time consuming, and then you waste an hour, 3 hours, then a day, and then who knows if you even fixed it. So when it comes to patience, you want to, for me at least, it's having the idea that you're going to run into a problem.
Anticipating it.
Yeah, so try to have everything prepared, do the job accordingly, to where you're not going to run into problems, and then you don't have to be patient for anything, because construction's about go. Like there's a time schedule. There's things we need to get done.
Definitely. Yeah. And now that you say that, yeah, because like I'm thinking there's also a scale to problem solving. There are like really, really big, like high profile issues, and then there are issues that everyone deals with on a day-to-day basis, but in their own way. And I think that's where what I'm going to say next can vary. Do you think do you think resources has anything to do with problem solving?
I definitely think so.
That's a tough one. I feel like I feel like that's a tough one because, you know, it's one of those things where like you hear people say like you'll make do with what you got to solve a problem, you know?
Yeah.
Like I think of like videos of like when you see like trucks stuck in mud, you know, and it's not able to get out, and then like the ideas that people come up with
like putting wood panels or like
that, or like I saw a dude, he had only duct tape,
right,
and he took a branch from a tree and put it on his tire and duct taped it to the tire. So as soon as it started going, like it was like a leg, so it like, you know, started pushing him out. Like that idea to me is like he didn't have one resource, but he made do with another.
He improvised.
Well, to clarify, I don't think that lack of resources means you'll never solve a problem, but I definitely think it affects the speed or the efficiency of solving a problem.
Yeah, I'll agree.
Because a lot of these problems, whatever they are, they always take tools.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They always take information, methods, which can be considered resources, you know?
And when we look at it, so we're talking general right now, but resources come into play at a more specific level. Like like construction, you're gonna need certain tools, funding, someone who can manage
manpower. Manpower. Yeah,
exactly.
And intelligence.
Then, yeah,
you know.
And then for programming, what would you like? You know, the fact that you need a computer, or the fact that you need certain programs.
You need tools. You need software for. I mean, again, like you don't need it, but it definitely makes it a lot easier.
Mm. I think so.
Like exponentially easier.
So my angle right now, I'm trying to go more out of the box, more overview, over the surface, because these are more specific situations.
Would you say ideas or methods are considered resources? Like, for instance, you're solving some type of triangle equation. Is Pythagorean theorem considered a resource?
I believe so, and we are we are moving in the right direction.
Because I consider that a resource, you know. Like,
so would you consider education a resource?
I would, yeah. Because again, like you could, you know, I'm like I know you use equations all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you could figure out some other long way, but it's like, why reinvent the wheel?
It's one of those things, you know, when you're in school and they tell you like, yes, we have the technology for it to do it for you. Mm-hmm. Like in construction, that's what it's basically come to. Like I've talked about that total station, that machine that you know fell over. That's doing trigonometry, and I don't have to do any of that. I just what it basically is that the guys, the engineers, or even myself go into this program, design what the job site should be, you know, and what it should look like with actual numbers, which again the program is doing. You know, I put in what the scale is for the job, right? I say on the plans for every 1/8 of an inch equals a foot, okay, and then I put that in there, and then the program already knows, you know, for everything that I draw, every 1/8 of an inch is a foot.
Yeah.
You know, and then you take that, you put it in the machine, and the machine's going to do all the trigonometry that you need to do. You know, but there is equations to figuring stuff out.
Yeah.
But
I think those are tools.
Yeah.
You know? That's all it is. It's just another tool in your toolbox to solve a problem.
Yeah.
You know?
And definitely, it's for sure research, because it takes an effort to gain. Or someone to provide you.
Yeah, that's true.
Someone to provide it for you. It's either you have a book to teach yourself, or you have some type of mentor or professor to tell you. And like, you know, when you're training, when you were getting started in construction, you had someone you were giving classes and things like that, right?
Yeah.
Is that what they would kind of teach at in those classes, or is that something you learned on right when you're in the job?
Honestly, you know, as an apprentice, you're you're automatically told you learn more in the field than you would in
Mm.
school. You know, the school is just a process for you to be accountable, you know, to go to it. And I honestly, I don't even. There's a lot of cool things I learned that I don't do specifically because I'm a concrete carpenter.
Mm.
But there's a lot of cool things you learn from the school. But a lot of the things I know is from learning from the
You
field.
got it from certain
Yeah.
That's actually a really good example because I know that. So the way I like to think, I hate when people hate when things go wrong, but anytime something goes wrong, and we just went dark, the lights turned off. So
Let me go turn these on.
I mean, it still looks fine on camera.
Does it?
Yeah,
We
we're
got a little light beaming through.
pretty clear.
Should I?
I mean,
lift
it's
the
up to you,
screen
though.
up a little.
Oh yeah,
Get a
you can do
little
that.
more
Oh, there we go.
We just gotta
Oh, is that what it is?
wave your
Yeah.
hands.
Okay.
Gotta wave our
Um,
arms around. I'm
Yeah,
gonna look through the window like, what the fuck?
a lot of people don't like to run into problems, but the one thing about research that I love so much is that you're always presented with a new scenario. So if something goes wrong, then that's added to your kind of your what is it, artillery or your tool? What is
Your
that?
toolbox,
Your toolbox,
I know what you're
infantry,
talking about.
or I
no,
don't
your
know.
art, not.
I
I know what you're
I-
talking about.
I'm not saying the right
Your
word.
armory?
Armory.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
added to your armory.
I almost said itinerary. Itinerary. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's just added to your armor, and it's so now you know how if that situation arises, you know how to go about it and fix it, or you know what went wrong, and it gives you more control of the situation.
Yeah. There's a thousand ways to skin a cat too.
Mm.
You know, like some people like doing things a certain way, and it's the same thing with problem solving. You know, he might have an idea, I might have an idea. You
Yeah.
know, there's a thousand ways to skin a cat.
And that's the beautiful thing, perspective.
Is
Dude,
it?
It's
is
in
it
everything we
hold
do.
on. Is it 1,000 or 100? Because I hear
think
dudes say
1,000
1,000. I hear guys say 100. You know, so I'm like, someone's
I don't
wrong.
know.
1,000 ways
A little
sounds-
excessive, you think?
It sounds excessive, but it
I
sounds
think
right.
plausible. Plausible.
It sounds right. Kind of like 1,000. It just I don't know. Every time I say 1,000, it just reminds me of 1,000 ways to die.
Yeah, same.
There are definitely way more than that.
Oh, yeah, there has to be.
But
Make a
yeah,
new TV show, A Million Ways to Die.
1,000,000 ways to die. I got one better for you. 1,000,000,000,000 ways to die.
Oh, yeah?
It's like that episode in The Office. How about 1 month? Or what, the zombie apocalypse, and Dwight's eating all the stored foods. Because like it's about to all expire, and he has it just for backup. You're like, oh, you guys will be laughing when I have all the food and you guys have none. And then Jim just messes with him like, so you think a zombie apocalypse could happen in 1 month?
Yeah.
How about 2 months? And he keeps going until like 36 months. But
Oh, man, that's a funny scene.
That's a
Okay, anyways, back
Anyways,
to
yeah, I'm sorry.
back on topic.
I'm just trying to take filler conversations to help prolong this episode because I'm worried it's not going to be long enough. So,
Hey, quality over quantity, right?
anyways, we'll
I'm just glad the fucking humming stopped.
Yeah, same.
Oh, dude, I
That's
didn't
why
even
we got to take
realize it.
advantage of it.
Okay. Yeah. All right, sounds good. Then I'm gonna get straight to the point. And if we're done sooner, we'll just fill it up with some cool talks, whatever.
Yeah.
Our one movie plug.
Dude, we won't run out of time, man. Or
Okay.
we won't run out of things to talk to.
Okay.
Talk about. We never do.
Yeah.
Dope. Okay, so then back to what I was saying. Education, it's a resource, and
Oh, can I actually add something real
yeah,
quick?
of course.
I think like that idea of an armory is such a big or such an important concept to problem solving that people don't realize. I talk to a lot of like my peers and a lot of them who struggle with math. They always say that they see a problem and they don't know what to do, right? And they just kind of get stuck and they're overwhelmed. I know I've realized that what I do, I kind of think of that as like a toolbox. Like I
Yeah.
see a problem, I don't know what to do, but I start thinking, okay, what have I learned so far in this class? And like sometimes I'll even write notes. Okay, we did this topic, this topic, this topic. And then from there I'll be like, what would apply to this? and by that point, you already know how to solve the problem.
Yeah.
You already know what approach to take. I think that's just such an important thing. When you have a problem, go back to your toolbox. Think, okay, what do I know? What have I learned? And out of all of these tools I have, which of them could help me solve this?
I think you told me once. You told me if you can't teach what you know to someone, then you don't know it well enough.
Yeah.
And that is, that is actually true. It doesn't mean you don't know it, but like to know it at its full capacity. They say for the MCAT, they say see something, do some, or see something, do something, teach something. And once you reach that point, you can teach whatever it is. Oh God. That's that's what I wanted to add. That's why failing is a good thing. And
you learn from that.
Yeah, you learn from it. And it's like you said, that curve, I keep forgetting the name. I just want to know the name of that curve where it exponentially rises, but when it's digressing, it's like plateauing. It's not doing anything.
Yeah.
What's the name of
I know
the function?
Yeah, there's it's like exponential functions, but there's like it'll come back to me. It'll come back to me.
Anyways, we mentioned it on one of our earlier podcasts, so you guys
pretty much the point is if you're increasing by 1%, that is an exponential function, and you'll start growing.
You're still growing
by larger and larger rates. If you're decreasing or not degrading, I almost had the term, but if you're decreasing by 1%, that amount that you're decreasing is getting smaller and smaller. So you are going to decrease at a very extremely slow rate, way slower. The rate of change is way slower decreasing than it is increasing.
Yeah, it almost looks like it's like plateauing. It's kind of like a line, and it never touches the x-axis type thing.
All right, it'll never reach zero.
Yeah, never reach zero. Yeah. Also, one more thing I like to add. I just realized
exponential decay. It's exponential growth and exponential decay. There we go.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I would recommend looking that up because we've talked about it quite a bit. We know I like it. I know you've mentioned that you like the exponential decay and exponential growth.
The idea of
it. It's honestly a really good depiction of failing. It's like failing. You're never failing backwards. You're always failing forwards.
Yeah. There's so much more to learn from failing too than winning. Yeah. There's so much more.
Yeah. You'd get more out of failing than you would out of winning for sure. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. That's a good point.
Even if you look at athletes, the guys that almost got it, those guys usually come back the next year even hungrier. Yeah. They want it because they know they were there. And they lost. So they learned something from that. They learned what they need to fix, what they need to do, and what they need to put in more to get it. There's more to learn from it.
And I think also when some people do something right, I know we're steering off topic a little bit, but when people do something right, they don't really question, how did I do it right? Yeah. Why did I do it right? How did things go so well? Because that could have just been an anomaly or some type of random culmination of events that were put together and you somehow did something correctly.
And it doesn't give you a better understanding of whatever it is that you're doing.
And that's why you're more likely to learn more from failing, because you take it so much more harder, you beat yourself up versus just winning and just taking it and leaving.
The way I see it, it's almost like it's like a picture frame and you're trying to find a specific thing, right? Right. And let's say you're a light and you can only uncover a part of it. If you get it on the first try, you're going to have no idea what the rest of the picture frame has. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But the more you miss, the better idea you're going to have of what's there.
Yeah.
Of everything
you're
going to
look in other spots. You're going to look at, oh man, that's crazy. I'm learning new ideas right now, dude. But yeah, back to what I was saying. It's honestly, I think a lot of, and this is what I mean by bigger picture. A lot of our issues today I think, involve the lack of education. Like one example of mine is, so I shadowed on on this past Thursday. What is that? Sorry.
Dude, yeah, where'd you pull that out? You just just pulled out a tiny camera stand.
It's the little tripod I use for the camera, bro. It was in my pocket.
It was like a magic trick.
This is rent. I'm like, dude, what the?
It was like a magic
You're
trick.
literally just. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, it's good. I needed that.
Oh man.
Yeah, I shadowed this past Thursday.
Oh Jesus.
The NFL. I'm gonna try to be as thorough as possible with my experience, but one of the common issues I realized when he would talk about the patients, or when he talked to the patients, is their lack of education. All these people are. It's the main issues in the U.S. are diabetes, heart disease. What is it?
Is it hypertension?
Hypertension is
I don't know what that is. But I've heard it a lot.
high blood pressure.
Okay.
Yeah, so diabetes, hypertension, and then high cholesterol.
Okay.
I think I said something wrong earlier. Anyways, but yeah, so these issues are big, and why? Why it's an epidemic.
I like how you said big. So low. It's big.
Why is it that we are still struggling with these issues? Why is this still a problem? We would think after so long, like, I feel like we have the internet. There's for some reason I believe that there are more. I think Instagram is maybe loading. I'm sorry.
Meme culture, bro. I've been saying this for like 4 episodes.
They are loading on fitness. I don't know. When I see Insta, I always see some type of fit. Maybe it's because of things I follow, but
that's not for education.
No,
that's for motivation.
Yeah.
That's for thirsty dudes to follow fitness.
You
models.
think that would motivate people?
Dude,
like constantly seeing that.
It was so sad because we had to break down. Like, hey, you need to start dialysis like right now. like you need less than 30 micrograms of for proper urine. You need proper urine content. You need less than 30 micrograms of protein in the urine.
Mm-hmm.
This girl had 1,000 times that. She had 3 grams from 3.
So she was just like peeing protein shakes, is what you're saying.
3 milligrams. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, you can actually tell. It's also like for those who think pumping protein like as like the highest source in your diet, that's actually not very good. Very good for you. You can actually see it in your pee. You'll see it when you pee, like you'll see like bubbles. Like foam, like you'll start to foam up when you.
Bro, I think
is that not normal?
I think I'm one of those people.
I was about to say, is that
you
not normal?
actually need.
I fucking love protein.
You need.
I've definitely had foamy pee.
They say 1 gram per body weight, but it's actually like 0.82. So it's lower than a 1-to-1.
Daniel, you gotta dumb that down even more, dude.
Wait,
I have no idea what the fuck you're saying.
That's the deal, or that's the max?
That is
So
that's how much you would need in your diet is 0.82 of your.
Or to build muscle.
I don't know ideal. No.
Because I've heard to build muscle, you want to be eating 1-to-1.
No, building muscle. So that's why they say plant-based diets. This is why people on plant-based diets can get ripped. It's not necessarily where as long as it has an
protein.
amino acid profile.
To explain better, I don't know if this is like vague. 1-to-1. So in like fitness, what I've heard is that for every for every pound of body weight, you want to eat a gram of protein. So for instance, I'm like 145, so then I want to eat 145 grams of protein.
I wouldn't say necessarily.
Okay, that dumbs it down a little easier.
It's a little. I think that's like cookie cutter. That's
right. I mean,
cutter.
yeah, that's like freaking
but to gain
that's like meathead logic.
To gain muscle, all it is, the basic guidelines is that you need to have, you need to be eating over your
caloric,
basal, your basal metabolic rate, what your body burns at rest, and to lose weight, you just simply need to be eating
less.
under that. So to gain muscle, in basic terms, it's that.
So it's a more of caloric intake than protein intake.
It's a well proportioned, because all the components are just as important in building muscle: carbohydrates, fats, and honestly, if you have too much protein, that protein is gonna get converted to other things, because that's in the metabolic pathway. Fats could be converted to sugars. Sugars can be converted to fats. Proteins could be converted, distributed as single peptides, amino acids, and they can combine to make different macromolecules.
Why don't you get a small degree in nutrition or diets or some shit, and then I can pay you to fucking tell me what I need to do. Okay, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? I have no idea. Do I need to drink more protein shakes?
The problem, I think,
Eat more calories.
it's consistency, because it's like what we talked about last week about in terms of segmented sleeping. You won't find results after 1 week. It's about and it's not necessarily 2 months. Like, you need to be doing this for a year. Like, you don't. That's the problem.
You already sound like a doctor, dude.
It's a long.
You're not giving me a fucking answer, but kind of giving me an answer.
I'm not a nutritionist.
Oh god.
I'm just saying what this is an example. Actually, we kind of we really steered off.
We're weird, bro. We made a hard left. For those just listening, the lights went off and we all just started waving like madmen.
Until we go to YouTube.
At some point, this episode will be on YouTube.
We made a hard left. We all started waving.
Hopefully in the next 3 weeks.
Dude, that was dope. We should post that on it. That's an Instagram content right there.
Yeah, we gotta clip that. We gotta get a clip of that. Someone, one of our streamers, clip that.
Yeah, clip that.
No, there's a lot of. I'm not very well educated in this. I'm just going based off what I read. But for gaining muscle in 20 grams, when you conserve, what's important is. Damn it, James.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
You need a certain dosage of, I believe, I'm butchering this and I'm not sure. You'd have to look it up, but you need a certain amount of an amino acid. I think it's leucine.
This is another thing that pisses me off.
This is good. I like
bro. There's too much fucking shit that you say that are definitely scientifical words, and it's like, how do you expect anyone to remember all this shit?
I'm forgetting my.
So you gotta listen to the episode and play back, baby.
Like, what was that last word you just said?
Leucine.
I already forgot it.
It's one of the essential amino acids.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
How many amino acids are there?
21. You know,
21.
Is it 21 or 20? I don't know. I'm having a moment right now.
That's just
someone told me. I don't know. I might have been just gullible, but someone told me there's 3 extra special amino acids.
3 extra ones?
They're like
special.
They're like
they're rare. It's like the Arnold amino acid, the fucking Kai Green amino acid, and the Arnold.
But anyways, education. That's where we were.
Education.
Yeah, dude. I'm telling you, it was so sad. But the truth is, the common trend that I was seeing is like, these people just don't know. Like, there's this person that didn't go to a doctor for like 8 years. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? It's also,
bro. That's my grandpa right there.
Oh god, there's so many things going on in our bodies that we just don't know. No, go for it.
And what does that boil down to, man? Like, it's just another problem that boils down to something, and I think it has to do with ignorance, like you said, uneducated, like people who are just uneducated, undisciplined, and unfortunately, like, I honestly, like, the lack of seeing a doctor, I think that's toxic masculinity. It's this idea of not needing help and being like, no, like, they're going to see me sick. They're going to see me vulnerable. It's like, yeah, that's what's going to kill you faster, dude. Like, people need to see you when you're vulnerable and
honestly,
sick.
Honestly, I like my doctor. So I like, going to see him, catching up with him, because he's known me since I was like, I think 8 years old, so he's seen me grow into an adult. So that's why I try going.
It's like a friend. It's like an old friend that you're catching up with.
Yeah. Also, too, the health stuff, too. That's important.
Yeah.
Let him know nothing's really going on, and if there is, he's like, all right, we'll take these steps.
You go for the conversation.
Hey, I haven't seen my doctor in a while.
Yeah, hey, bro.
You're good, dude. You're
Hey,
fine.
how you been, man? How you been?
Yeah.
How's
He's
the
like,
wife?
Why are you here again?
Dude, I was in the room and I wanted to cry, dude. I was like,
Dang.
this lady, dude. I could see it. I could see it in her body
Like the
language.
fear
I could
or
hear
what?
it. I could hear it in her breath. I could hear it in her voice. I could see it in her body language. Dude, this girl was like,
hear it in her breath.
to hear that you're gonna need a kidney transplant.
Oh,
Like,
shit,
dude, that's
that's scary.
insane. To have your now you have one more stress factor in your life, and that
Yeah.
could have just been avoided, you know. And it's not her fault.
You know, she would have one less.
Too soon, bro. Too soon.
She could, never mind, I can't. Okay, no, I could. She would have one less stress factor if she didn't go to that fucking doctor's meeting and she heard all that shit that you guys just told her.
Yeah,
she would have just lived her life.
That is not what I thought you were gonna say.
Dude, she would also be dead.
What do you think I was gonna say?
I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
I'll say it after the episode.
Yeah, dude, that's insane, and it's not her fault.
Mm-hmm.
She just doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like for example, you're driving on the freeway, and this guy has his high beams on. Like, I'm not gonna like get angry at him or, you know, try to like be upset, like, because like he just doesn't know. It's not his fault that he doesn't know. Like, I know he should probably be paying more attention, but
we're getting to this weird point in society where information is so accessible that, like, I don't know. I'm not saying I believe this, but is ignorance an excuse anymore? Like, I don't know. I that's something that I go back and forth on.
Mhm.
You know, because the information's there, but
Yeah.
then again, how are you gonna learn something that you literally don't
'Cause
know
you're
is
right.
there to learn?
Also, I think there's also a level of common sense too. Not all, the good thing I like about shadowing is it's showing me everything I want to do right and everything I don't want to do. Because I see their flaws. Everyone has, I wouldn't say flaws. They have their own approach, and they are the way they are for a reason. But some doctors have they don't have a lot of time, and they don't have the energy to that's what I want to change. I want to be thorough, and I want to consistently show compassion and show that I care, and, you know, give everyone my full attention. And I think that's why I don't want to be a general doctor, because you're literally just come in, get out, come in, get out, come in, and that's just more quantity over quality. And that kind of approach, like your type of doctor, Phil, I don't know if he's like catered or focused, depending on depending on the doctor and how many patients he sees. Like their overall goal is just to make something better, to progress. So that could have just been, as long as they like have it, people could take matters in their own hands and fix these issues, but it's not sustainable for a lot of people for some reason. Like being healthy is not enough of a reason for them to pursue that. You know, they're not motivated to do that type of thing. So a lot of doctors, or not a lot, but some doctors' approaches is they just want to do something better, some type of progression. And that could have been just like stop drinking a soda a week versus, you know, you have like McDonald's every single day. You know, that is something better. That's something forward. So yeah, I see all these flaws, and that's what I would like to change, or that's what I would like to become, because these people need it. And the reason why I say I think common sense is involved is because some people use it. It's ignorance. They want to find, like, oh, the doctor didn't tell me, like, you know, like some things you should just know.
Or they're like, the doctor's a quack, you know? Or
Yeah.
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
And they accept it, or they like, that's why it's always important to do the investigation yourself. But no one has the motivation to do that, or not
Or the
necessarily motivation,
skills
the skills
or tools.
or don't know where to start. And that's where it can get overwhelming. And I think that is definitely a commonality with all these. That's definitely a commonality with all the issues we have nowadays. And that's why it's so important to tackle these big issues as a collective, as a team.
Yeah.
Like, because if it was one scientist trying to solve global warming, dude, that would
Wouldn't happen.
that's a lot. Where do you start, you know?
And going on top of what we were talking about earlier about resources, and especially education being resources, I think that's where a lot of our education system in our country is kind of missing. Especially, more importantly, our public education, especially for like, you know, minors. Is that the whole point should be to give you those tools to succeed in life, right?
Right.
And one thing that I realized I feel a little too late in my life is that the only thing that you can take anywhere is your characteristics. And that means like discipline, your ability to self-learn, your ability to research, your ability to think critically, to reason. And that's the thing. I know I would hear that in high school, like, oh, this is supposed to teach you critical thinking skills. But it was given in such a way that you completely miss the point, you know? Because all you're told is, oh, you just have to read this passage and tell me why, you know, whatever theme is important to this passage, you know? But it's more important than that. Like, we should be teaching people how to be self-sufficient. And that is not what we do. We teach people to be a number. And we teach people to get a certain score on a test. Yeah. And we teach people to, you know, follow the masses and get into the next conveyor belt of life. And there's just like no value in that, really. And I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with where we're at and where most people
I definitely I think it would be a really good idea for if we had the resources for the public schools. I know you can't teach certain things, but like I think if we had some type of like personal development class, you think that would?
I think that should be the foundation of school.
Right.
Like, you're not teaching science just to learn equations. You're teaching science so people know how to problem solve. Like, that should be the foundation. That should be the point.
There's a TED Talk. I forgot the guy's name, but he was talking about how, you know, technology's gotten to a point where we really don't need to teach the way we do anymore. Like, if you think about school, like as a foundation, the idea of school, it's very old, you know, like it came over here. When we came over here, we just implemented it the way it was, like whenever, I don't really know when that was, but that we brought it over and it's been the same system ever since. You know, you have to learn how to read, you have to learn how to do math, then science became a thing, you know, but it's never really changed. But technology has progressed so much that's like, why do we still teach these things? Yeah. When we're in a different age as a society.
Yeah, because as things move on, the rest of the criteria should be moving on as well.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I feel like I never learned in high school. I feel like I didn't learn how to truly problem solve until a year ago. And one thing that I'm really grateful for about my program here for computer science, most of the professors, they tell you, don't memorize any of this. Like, you have the internet. Why are you going to memorize? Why are you going to try to memorize all these steps? Yeah. What you need to learn is the process of solving these problems, because that's something that's applied anywhere. And at that point, like, it's just figuring out the tools that you need, you know? Like, okay, you look at this equation, I don't know how to solve this, but I've realized I need something to solve this part of it. Then you can go online, like, what's an equation to solve that? Boom, there you go. All right, now I have the tool I need, you know? And I never got that in high school. Yeah. The whole time, they're just telling you to memorize steps, to memorize words, to memorize everything. And it's like, why are we memorizing shit? Yeah.
Like, what I've been finding for myself most satisfying from the internet is I find a lot of the old YouTubers I used to watch so dull now. You know, it's like their life is so disconnected from what my life is. It's like, why do I find this entertaining? You know, so I gravitate towards what I do. And a lot of like construction YouTubers that post their work on YouTube or on their Instagram, I follow them simply because the idea of like I want to see how they do things. I want to see how they problem solve because there's so many different like ways to approach things, and like that's a great way to figure that out and solve that problem, you know. And I don't know. I
agree with that. Like
it's one of those.
I follow like scientists as well. Like, dude, that is really I love. This is what I love when you follow the right people on Twitter. Dude, you learn so much. You learn so much. These people are posting articles, papers, interesting facts. I'm like, dude, that is crazy. You know, I just read something about soybean oil, and how bad it is for you. Long story short, that's it. Yeah, I don't want to get into the details of that. But I have to say, there is definitely a complex layout to so back to what we were saying earlier, high school, it might have been a failure, but we learned things from it. We learned there are definitely things we learned from it for sure. Maybe
it wasn't a complete failure.
It wasn't a complete
Definitely
failure.
not.
Yeah, it might have been efficient in some ways, but we learned. You know what I learned the most from? I learned the most from Media Lit.
Yep.
My peers. And my parents, and I might have gained some cool
my parents
some soft skills, dude. That's why I'm so grateful and fortunate to have had friends like you, because we have been through so many diverse situations where, you know, we always came out of it. We came on top of it, you know, and like you guys were always a good influence. You guys weren't trying to push me down a well or something. So that, like, I had good guidance, you know, because I was with you guys and we're all, you know,
trying to do something, trying to be something.
Exactly. And so there are definitely skills that were gained from high school, and you know, I might have remembered a physics equation or two going to college. But that, I don't think we learned too much in terms of development. You know, all the development came in college, and I think it's a normal thing for people to not know what they want to do because they haven't developed yet. They don't know their skills. They don't know what they're good at, and that's what makes this so complex. Is for you to learn, you need different stress factors. You know someone at their best when you see them under a lot of stress. And how was I going to correlate that?
It's the same thing with learning.
It's the same thing with learning. Like that's how you probably learn how to manage problem solving, is because you go in the trenches so much. You're like, you start to think, now you'll have a little bit more control. Now you know how to maneuver your way out of it. You know, that's what you gain from it. And that's why I think college puts you through that. High school doesn't necessarily do that. It's a lot more easygoing. But I don't think would you guys think we're capable of dealing with things like that at that age?
High school?
We don't know though. We don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to say.
We don't know because we're kind of just thrown into college.
Yeah. I would say we're very adaptable. Humans are very adaptable. I think we would be able to. But the reality is, where we are now, it's this whole idea of no child left behind, right? Everyone gets through high school. If we were to do that, it would come with sacrifices and knowing that some people are going to fall behind.
Mm-hmm.
Some people aren't ready for that.
Dude, I shouldn't have graduated.
But even then, you were capable.
I was capable.
You were capable.
Mm-hmm.
There's
but I shouldn't have. You know, I didn't do a single essay.
That blows my mind, dude. I had to do an essay a week.
since seventh grade, I didn't do a single essay.
Dude, I would literally, for my English classes, for AP, we would literally do an in-class essay every single Friday, dude. But I'm grateful for that now because I could bust out an essay like nothing, dude.
Yeah,
like nothing.
You definitely took something. I think these would be considered hard skills kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hardware, software type thing.
So at work, I'm recording man days, right? I don't know if you guys saw my story when I did it last week. And I had to hop on, Excel and create a spreadsheet. I don't know how to run Excel at all. At all. But I went on there and I fucking did it, dude. You know, there was no problem.
Dude, I didn't learn.
I immediately thought back to high school though, like fuck.
Should have paid attention.
Yeah, I remember
Computer class.
computer programming. Yeah.
Which is bull, man. Which is bull. Because some of my peers, they've been coding. They've been coding since freshman year of high school. They did 4 years of coding in high school.
They don't know how to use Excel.
No, hell yeah, they know how to use Excel. Are you kidding me? They could write Excel if they want to.
They can make their own functions.
Yeah,
and formulas. in Excel.
Our high school, we got 1 semester of programming, quote unquote programming, and all it is this is how you use PowerPoint. This is how you use Word. This is how you type. Like,
Yeah.
Oh God, behind the times, bro.
Yeah, and it sucks because this ties back into the lack of education. A lot of people beat themselves up but not knowing what they want to do, you know?
Yeah.
And that's good for them because the more they beat themselves up, the more they will get closer, I think. But these guys, like, they're doing it in a negative way, you know? Instead of wanting to seek out experiences, you know, like, they're just gonna, like, you know, I don't know what I want to do.
With the flow.
Yeah. Overwhelmed. They don't know what to do. And then there's that time limit.
There's just lack of, like, pressure.
Yeah.
External pressure.
I would say so. Yeah, we've been talking about all kinds of things today. But yeah, lack of education.
Okay, yeah, let's get back
to what we were talking about.
How long are we running now?
51 minutes.
I hope you guys enjoy this episode. It's kind of I've been having a good time.
Yeah, this is a good conversation.
So then back to what I was saying. How do you generally solve a problem? And what I wanted to get your guys' opinion on is it acknowledging the issue? Is it awareness?
Yes.
And
I would say that's is extremely important component to it.
And that's tied in with education.
Yeah.
Would you say?
Yeah. It's that age-old saying, the first step to solving a problem is acknowledging that there is one.
Yeah.
And I think that's honestly, that is such a useful skill in itself, is acknowledging from severe cases of depression to just one problem. First, what do you have in front of you? And lay it out. That's how you would go about solving a math formula. You lay out all the variables and seeing what it is that you need, what is wrong, what's missing, you know?
Yeah.
You never have you can never fix a problem if you don't know there's a problem to fix.
Right.
And that is something that's
or makes it a lot harder.
Yeah, I think that's why, you know, there's the lack of education in politics. It just, you know, it causes a lot of conflict, a lack of education in science related fields. You know, if someone no one's going to say, "Oh, there's no global warming. We don't see it. We don't see organic," like, it's all on an atomic level. And, you know, they're going to say there's no issue. Or, yeah, I don't know how people can misunderstand that the world is a square. Or people think that it's a square, but it's actually round. But that is so easy to come across. You must not have a computer.
Wait, people think the world is square?
A square or flat?
Flat, my bad.
Okay, I was like, people think it's flat and a square. Oh my god, it's like a new level. It's like a super flat.
When I was thinking, for some reason, when I was thinking flat, I was thinking that they were thinking it was a square. Because that's the only thing.
This is the tile. We live on a tile. Okay, for all you flat earthers, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get 2 brooms. Oh wait, we can't do that anymore. I want you to get 2 cones of the same height. Put one down, okay, and then put another one down, maybe like 300 yards away, and measure the shadows, okay? And you're gonna find something. They're different lengths. Why do you think that is? It's because we're on a round surface. We don't have a lamp on top of us on a flat surface.
I'm trying to. I have a.
Sorry, was that very like aggressive?
No, not at all. I think you should be hard on this actually. For very visual. I'm sorry. It's probably you just don't know. I'm not gonna. We shouldn't be hard on them.
No, you
I
should
think
know.
for some people they don't know. But this is the thing.
That's a level of arrogance and stupidity that should not be accepted.
Like, that's my point though. Is that an excuse?
I think arguing that the world is flat without any evidence, yeah, that is arrogance. That is bad. That is not okay.
It's just a waste of energy.
What evidence?
There is no evidence. Yeah, there's. That's what I'm saying. You can't argue something you have. Like people, it's irrational. It gets completely irrational. Let me quickly explain this. If you have 5 integers,
So off track.
and you 1 out of 5, it's more sensitive. Like you're gonna see more change. What if you have 100 values and one is missing? You're less likely to see it. The world is just so big that that's why it looks flat to you. It's just humongous. Like it's hard to distinguish
the degree of the
difference.
curvature to your perspective is so minuscule.
It's exactly. So that is why you may think the world is flat.
Well, another thing too, it's not perfectly curved. It's not a perfect sphere. You know?
From out that it looks like a sphere, but it's definitely not a perfect sphere. Yeah, not at all. But that's like looking at it from a distance as well. Also the same idea. Okay, let me get to the point. Okay, sorry guys.
God,
lack of
damn it, Daniel.
the Danny rants.
That's a perfect name, bro.
That's
you
how-
totally have Danny rants.
That's how I knew we were gonna get a full episode. We just gotta let you talk, bro.
Yeah.
I got a lot to say, but I will get to the point. Yeah, lack of education. I felt terrible, dude. It's just, and it's not there. Like the people in the physician's office, like it's.
They're
not
not
their fault,
intentional
dude.
about
it's
it.
not.
Like, yeah.
Like, and the reason I asked about resources is, people say it's because of poverty, and people resort to let me buy just McDonald's every day, or I'm sorry to bad McDonald's isn't bad for you, but everything comes in its doses. You know, dose makes the poison.
Ooh, I like that. Dose
makes
the poison. I like that.
Because too much water can kill you, and too little water can kill you. So
Can too little crack kill you?
I don't know.
Like too much crack can kill you, but does it go always go both ways?
There are exceptions.
I don't think it does.
I think there are exceptions. There are definitely exceptions, because you can't say.
I'm trolling, dude. I'm sorry.
No, I'm actually kind of curious. I want to think there are exceptions for sure.
God damn it! I hate. You are two of the smartest people I've ever met.
And we're also the dumbest at the same time.
But whenever James asks a stupid ass question like that, I know he's fucking with us. But Daniel takes it in his heart to answer it. He's like, no, I want to know. Let's go
down the travel. And it's funny too.
Let's go travel the world and fucking find out.
People who listen to this episode, they're like, some of them have said, dude, I hate when you do that shit. And you know what? I can't help it. That's who I am. Okay.
I want to let you listeners know I hate it too, because I know he's fucking around.
Sorry, dude. I can only do so much seriousness. I have to have some comedic relief every now and then. I'm sorry.
I could sometimes be gullible, but also very curious. So I want to look into it, even if it's a dead end.
Hey, those are the questions that lead to the biggest
I want to let the
discoveries.
listeners know it happens all the time.
Not just on
James
the podcast.
asks something, Daniel takes it and runs with it. It's like, you're right. We should go find out.
That's how this dynamic works, okay?
Oh man, let's jump off of a cliff and see how that goes.
All right, I'm done with the rest of this episode.
Okay, so it's being aware, being educated, and I think that in itself, we don't need money. Like, it could be helpful to have money and power, but we have a lot of things that are at the tip of our. We have a lot of things
tip of
in
our
our
fingers.
hands. Yeah, tip of our fingers. I don't know if that was the saying. I give up.
Hit the eject on that one.
Like, we have social media. There's people that so many. I'm so happy for like all the people that promoted like the fire in Australia. Even though like some things were kind of over exaggerated in terms of that. It wasn't a good it wasn't like a good situation, of course, but I think a lot of people kind of like coronavirus, they're, you know, kind of overhyping it. Or
The fuck's wrong with you?
I feel like I'm saying something wrong. You're being very disrespectful.
He's
right now.
I'm
he's-
sorry.
He's
so
being
sorry.
very giggly today.
Dude, I don't know why. I'm just in that mood. Everything's so funny right now. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, I
The
think
fires in Australia were funny to
Dude,
you.
no, that wasn't funny. But
coronavirus is funny.
I just think of the memes, bro. I just think of the memes.
Alyssa's dad last night called it the Heineken virus.
Oh god. Oh man. Yeah, so I think it's definitely at the source. It's being educated.
100%.
And there, you know what, there's so many. I think it's like you said last week about the internet, you know, we're using it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
Everyone has it, but everyone could be so knowledgeable. Anyone could do anything. So if someone could learn so much just by the internet itself, they just have to they don't need to go to school. They don't need to. You have YouTube, you have all these different you have Khan Academy. You can learn all the science you need.
iTunes U.
So many free resources. You literally
Coursera.
don't need to go to school, but school is there to serve as a guidance. Like sometimes, so it's not overwhelming, because it could be. But you know, props to all those people who've tackled those type of things just by using the internet.
Yeah.
So I wanted to use today's episode to promote. This is what I was getting to, is to promote awareness on immune disorders and blood cancers. A little bit about my background. I volunteered with the Gift of Life, and it's a nonprofit organization that helps create patient and donor matches. And there's only two organizations. It's Be the Match and Gift of Life. They're both phenomenal, and they pool all their data together to create matches for people. Cancer, everyone hates cancer, but yet, you know, you guys will be surprised at the end of this, what I'm about to say. I'm sorry. And my computer shut off, so okay, lit. So where to begin? Okay, so Jay Feinberg, the founder of Gift of Life, a little bit of background is he was diagnosed with leukemia at a young age, and the doctors, his physician, pretty much just told him, get your bucket list together. You're not gonna I'm telling you, it's difficult to find a match. But yeah, pretty much he told him you can't do anything.
Or what?
He told him you pretty much can't do anything. You know, it's out of your control.
Yeah.
And I'll get to why it's out of your control. And what they do now is they give what these organizations do is they send you kits, and you take a swab, 4 swabs in the mouth. It creates a bigger sample size, and it collects the DNA. And they analyze it. It's nonprofit. They send you these kits. You swab. You send it back. You take like a survey, answer all this questionnaire to see if you're a viable candidate. And he swabbed 60,000 people. 60,000 people. In that, he only found 10 people, and
Dang.
one of those 10 people were a match. Not all matches are successful. You know, there's a lot of complications. It's very complex. You know, maybe this person's not it's not healthy for this person to donate. Maybe it's not. So 60,000 people and one person. And that is a rare case in itself. Sometimes it's 100,000 people, 150,000 people. Immune disorders and blood cancers are, how they find matches is that blood type is negligible. It doesn't matter. It's all about what they call these are immune system factors. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a little sciencey here, and they're called human leukocyte antigens. and they're almost found. They're markers or proteins. They're found in a lot of cells in your body, and there are thousands and thousands of human leukocyte antigens in your body, and they look for like I think 6 specific ones. So that's already a very, very tough to match. The reason why, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little nervous now. I don't want to screw this up. You know what? Let me close this. I'm sorry.
You spent all morning writing those notes.
I don't need this. All right, I need it a little bit.
Oh my! You're so nervous right now.
Okay, so the best way to find a match is through your best chances is through ethnicity. And like I said, matches are found through the immune system factors, HLA. I'll put it in simpler terms in that way. And the best marrow transplant depends on how closely these markers are matched between you and someone else, because the human leukocyte antigens is how your body distinguishes what's foreign to you and what's not. So whatever's foreign to you, it's gonna go ahead and kill it, get rid of it. It does not belong here. That's why transplants, they need to know that it's compatible, because you don't want the body to severely attack. They do give medication for that, but in terms of blood cancers and immune disorders, they need to closely match these markers. But imagine, like, there are cancers that are not, like, everyone hates cancer, but you can cure cancer, like this form of cancer.
Okay.
It's more so
it'll be a cure.
Like, it would cure them. Like, people
really?
People with like a
you're not buying them time. You're not just buying them time.
It will cure them.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And the reason, the therapy. So what they look for a match, because then and this is what people get scared of. The donation is, that's why blood type is negligible. It's the stem cells and the bone marrow. And when I say bone marrow, people freak out and they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to.
I'm not gonna lie. That gives, like, it makes me like feel.
That's why when I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be
why.
I'm gonna be upfront with,
all I picture is
of a big needle going
into your shin. Oh, I didn't think ass, but I just think of like a big ass needle going into my bone.
Most bone marrow, it's not physically. People think sawing of the bone, or what they do is they extract liquid marrow.
From where?
From the pelvis.
From the pelvis?
Yeah,
they're not piercing any bones.
Like it is. Well, okay. Let me get to that. All right. Well, first, like, that's what I said. When I give these presentations, you arrange things and manipulate in a way so it doesn't sound scary. You know, you have to give them the soft facts first.
Yeah.
And so far I butchered it because I'm nervous. But let me restart this. Okay. So that's why. So matches are hard to find because there are 6 antigens they look out of thousands, and the reason why it's hard to match, reason why it's hard to find a match, is because you can't match with your parents. You could 25% chance of matching with a sibling, and that leaves 75% chance that you will match with a stranger. And there are plenty of those. But 75% chance you'll match with a stranger, and the reason why it lies so heavily with ethnicity is that HLA has been passed down for generations. So various combinations have developed in different ethnic groups. So I would most likely find it within an Egyptian. That's what, like, and let me give you the stats. Multiracials have I have the statistic here. Multiracials have 25% chance of finding a donor. African American, also 25% chance. Asian American, 40% chance. And Latinos have a 45% chance of finding a donor. Now, white people, they have a 98% chance of finding a donor, but that's because they are the majority of the population.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Do you know they're the minority now in like the age group of 18 and under in our country?
Really?
Yeah, they're now the minority.
Oh man, I think
Shit's gonna be
I don't know
changing.
how old these stats are. They're recent, 2017, I believe. Or they consistently update it, but this data is from 2017. But yeah, that's why it's so hard to find a match. Is it lies heavily within the ethnic groups, and you're not matching with a family member. You're matching with most likely a stranger. And if I properly inform you guys, would you guys be willing? Not even donate. It's just signing up. It's just taking a cheek swab, and I know you've done this. You've done it with Be the Match. It just taking a cheek swab and literally sending it, and they ask all these questions just to narrow down, because it takes like $60 to analyze these samples. So they don't want to be paying. They don't want to waste their money. And so that's why there's like a questionnaire they ask and eliminate. They kind of just narrow it down. Then you can't donate. You can't be a potential donor. There's a 10% chance you're even called, and when you do donate, there are two procedures. It's a bone marrow, the bone marrow extraction, or apheresis. And apheresis is what they do is it's like donating blood. They circulate your blood, and the blood goes through some type of apparatus, and it separates the stem cells from the rest of the components, and then the rest of the components return back to the blood. Stem cells are regenerative, bone marrow is regenerative, so your levels are going to return back to normal. But they use they use stem cells and marrow because once they combine the stem cells with the blood, it's going to produce the necessary blood cells and white blood cells. And actually, fun fact, when you do this, their DNA changes. They essentially have your DNA.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. But they're cured. And one of the things, I think it's enough of if it's going to put you at risk, that's something to consider. But if there's no risk whatsoever and you're saving a life, isn't that enough of a reason to do this?
Let me get this straight real quick. We've been sitting here for an hour and 12 minutes,
and this is
just for you to ask us to sign up for this shit.
No, I'm not asking you to sign up. I think I'm promoting awareness. Look, this is what I'm being. Look, you'd be surprised. I go around campus, and that's not enough of a reason.
Now I understand why you're nervous.
Yeah,
you're trying to sell us on this idea.
Trying to sell you guys.
You ready for that needle up the ass?
I'm sold, man.
So let me get to that. It's an 85% chance that it's apheresis, which is a circulation blood, and then there's a 15% chance that it is bone marrow extraction. But what the bone marrow extraction is, most people think it's like they're cutting a piece of your bone out, and it's gonna just be like some concave shape in your bone, or they're putting a needle deep in, like up your ass, pretty much. It's not that. What they do, it's an outpatient procedure. It takes 45 minutes. They put you under, you're asleep, they extract the bone marrow, your marrow returns back to normal levels. They wouldn't do it if they test to see if you're a viable candidate, if you're healthy. And
what's the recovery rate of this procedure? It's like you're up on your feet
up on your feet. You have so you have a little bit of pain, but that pain is like it's not Xanax or Norcos. It's ibuprofen, and it's gone. You're good.
Okay.
Like, I don't see what's so bad about that, and people are skeptical. Like you're put on. I don't know. People don't like needles, so I guess.
I think the biggest thing is really pushing that it's curing people.
Yeah.
Like I would have to say, like, just my initial response is, if I'm going through all this just for someone to need another donor in a couple years, I would probably say no.
Yeah, because it just keeps going.
Yeah, but if it's curing someone, if it's literally saving someone's life, like, I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I don't see how I
really
could say no.
Severe cases, in really like like it sucks because it's curable and people are dying.
Yeah.
The reason why it's important for people to register is we need to diversify the registry. It's like I said, it lies heavily within ethnic groups. So like the more African Americans and multiracials that register into it, they're gonna increase the chances of their racial groups to, or their ethnic groups to be able to have higher chances of finding a match. And that's the problem, is that even though I don't know why I tied this into education, is because here I am educating you guys, but there are people who just, you know what, a lot of people at my school, that are pursuing in the healthcare profession, they did not want to do this. They didn't want to sign up.
Dang.
Like you guys make me sick. And
their whole thing is they want to help people.
Everyone quickly is jumping on excuses. Oh, well, I'm anemic. Having anemia, I'm anemic. It doesn't it doesn't matter. All right, let me tell you what you can. You cannot become a donor if you're not able to join the registry. If you've had Addison's disease, I don't know what half these things are. Chronic fatigue syndrome, fibro. I don't know. It's not anemia. It's not like you're like a lot of people say. Oh, I my blood type is rare, or I have anemia, and I'm like, that doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with it. And people still are like, oh well, and I tell them these things. They're like, no, I'm okay. I'm not gonna do it. You know, after even educating them, it hurts, man. Like when we have the chance.
Yeah.
Daniel doesn't do well with denial.
I think it's more just that people are dying, and
like you can save someone. Like you have the chance to save someone, and you say no, and it's very little effort on your part. All you have to do is swab, take a 5-minute survey, and that's it. And there's a 10%. There's no commitment. Even when I say there's no commitment, you could say no at any time. If you match with someone and they tell you, that's your decision that you want to say, no, I don't want to help this person. So they wouldn't do it if they do all these tests to see if you're you're a healthy candidate. My friend matched actually, but it didn't go through. Like she was like going through the process and she matched, and then it didn't go through because it just it didn't work. I don't know for what reason. But like at least, you know.
Yeah,
sorry,
it just didn't work out. Whatever. All right, yeah, it'll come back.
But I know I wasn't as well as a businessman right there, and I might have not sold this as well as I wanted to. But now that you guys are informed, would you guys?
I suppose.
Why suppose?
What thoughts are you having, Phil?
To be honest, I don't really care. I really don't. The idea of saving someone doesn't really fucking like.
But
honestly,
you wouldn't say
it's not because
it's not that you don't care.
It's not that I don't care about people or that I'm trying to be an asshole here. It's just that I don't fucking care.
Yeah. No,
I have a life to live. I have shit to do.
That's an answer.
I don't care.
That's an answer I respect.
Yeah.
But not someone.
And I'm
who
sure
just
that's
says,
an answer for most people. They're just not willing to say it.
I just
but
know.
I what I'm saying is I'll do it.
I can just imagine. I feel like that would be like if, let's say, my mom had that, and I know she could be cured, but there's just no match, right?
Yeah.
That would be enough to to make me angry, to drive me insane. Like that would make me 100%. I would lose faith in humanity.
Yeah.
Like,
see, but when I hear this, I immediately don't tie into the idea of that if it was me or if it was I try not to do that because I try to take those emotional or those thoughts out of it and think about myself.
Yeah. No, and that's important. I think
what I'm saying is I'll do it.
No, yeah.
To all the people that think I'm a dick for saying I don't care, no, I'm doing it.
No, I want to point out that I given you you're giving me an honest answer, but a lot of, even despite providing people the information, they're like, okay, I need to talk to my mom. Or you're 22, 23.
I gotta talk to my mom.
I need to talk to my mom.
I gotta
Or
get permission from my
I gotta
mommy.
think about, why don't you sign up? There's no commitment, and then think about it.
I have to be home at a certain hour. I have to call my mom.
Dude, I'm telling you, people are like, I don't know, it's surgery, like.
I have a question. Why are you saying yes though? For what reason?
Mainly, if it was someone random, I'd probably say no. But since it's you, Daniel, and I can see how much you care about it, I'm saying yes.
Oh, thank you, sir. I
Damn.
appreciate it. Do it for me.
That's wholesome, dude.
I just said
I like
that.
that. I love it. I love it. No, yeah, and I appreciate that. Yeah, no, what if it's like a dying 4-year-old? Like, that's a bad. Damn it, James.
Dude, I was laughing at Phil's reaction.
This is why I say I try not to start thinking like this.
Yeah.
Philip would yeet
Yeah,
a 4-year-old.
Philip removes. That's definitely.
Fuck them
So-
kids.
But
dude.
I
saw
think
the funniest post the other day.
yeah, I would say the beginning part of this podcast was more intriguing. This is definitely.
It took a long time to
Yeah.
get to the point.
It was fun getting.
It was
good.
fun getting
It
to the point.
man.
No, it was. Yeah.
I
I hope people stuck with us.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's important though. Like, I like that you're starting this process of thinking of this podcast in its bigger impact, right?
Mhm.
That we could do good with it. We're reaching people all over the globe. Like I get it. Like, don't get me wrong. I love dick jokes and fart jokes all day.
Yeah.
But if we could do some good, I think that's great.
Absolutely.
I 100% agree.
It makes it. We start to stand for more as well. Like
Mhm.
definitely. This was supposed to be. This wasn't the main point, but this was an example.
This is the thing,
just
though.
simply-
If you were coming on talking about essential oils and Herbalife, oh my god, bro, I'd tell you get the fuck out.
yeah. No, this is all in
God.
all, this is just educating people.
Mhm.
And I'm sure there are people who have no idea that this is an issue, and I'm sure and I hope after whoever hears this, they do decide. I know it's I usually come to you with the kit so that you have no reason to say no.
You're then and there.
You do a mobile drive, but if you guys are interested, I know it's kind of hard. Like the simple things are sometimes hard to do. So if you're interested, you just go on their website, either Be the Match or Gift of Life, and you can request a kit. They'll send it for free, and that's it. If you're in very very passionate or interested in doing this, but usually so I don't let people have the excuse. I have the kits ready on me.
I hope you do inspire people to go and do this.
Yeah,
And I hope not a lot of them are like me.
No, not at all. That I think that, and it wasn't even the point. It was just an example. Like as simple as diabetes. Hey, just take care of yourself. Go to the doctor.
Dude, but I respect your answer, man. Like, because what I think of is like donating a kidney. I feel like unless it's someone close to me, I would have a really hard time.
Yeah, exactly.
Saying yes to that.
Yeah, you got to think about yourself.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but even when I got my license, I didn't say yes to donating if I died. Like,
Oh, really?
I'm
for some
no.
reason, like in
Why?
my head, like I think like no, that's me. When I go, like I
Really?
don't want all of me in that
Dang.
fucking box.
I'm not
or burned,
yeah,
or whatever I do with cremation. Or
I haven't signed up as a donor either.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Dude,
not.
I remember signing up. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna be dead. You can do whatever the
I know,
hell you
just-
want.
I
You
don't
can make
know.
me
I
into a
think-
prop.
I think the
I don't
reason
know.
I will now, but I think the reason why I didn't sign up initially is because I just had a hard time thinking about like them taking my organs out of my body, and like that just means I'm dead.
Yeah.
It's
No,
a hard.
I understand that.
that's-
A lot of
my-
that's yeah.
Yeah, my thought went straight to like I'm gonna be there on some metal table, and they're just cutting away all these organs,
I mean,
and
dude-
then putting it in a bucket, and then it's just like
Bro, that's
me is
good-
just
Yeah.
going
That's
across
gonna
the
happen
country.
regardless,
We
dude.
made
Even if you're
these-
getting buried, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They empty you out.
We made these ideas.
Stuff you
we-
formaldehyde.
And we got our IDs and licenses in high school too, so that was
Yeah.
also
Different
different
state of mind.
perspective. Yeah.
And now I just will not do it because fuck the DMV. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Bro, they could stuff me like a bear. I'm fine with that too. You do whatever the hell you want with my body.
Oh my god.
If you guys want to stuff me after I die, just have me in your
Yeah,
living room.
that's James over there. He died a while ago.
I'm just there like grr.
Our former podcast member.
You can still still have me at every episode.
We have
Just
when we
propped up,
actually
bro.
have a when we
Bro,
actually have a studio.
Bro, I'm gonna drive around like you have the Rick doll
With
in
my
your
body.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you
Rick.
fucking seatbelt up with
That way-
sunglasses on, just chilling.
That way you can get in the carpool.
I've definitely developed.
Yeah, bro.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What is the law about that? If you're a hearse driver, you're driving by yourself, but you got a casket with a body in the back. Can you ride the carpool?
Oh,
I need answers.
Usually,
here we go. Daniel's ready to fucking figure this shit out.
Well, no. Usually though, they're not in the carpool lane. They're like in a caravan.
Yeah.
They are in
They're-
that's true.
and they
But
have police escorts too.
that is true. I'm just curious if
If they
can you legally. Is that because what does it say? 2 or more
The fuck
persons.
guy's like, oh, fucking run late.
I don't think so.
Let me throw the body in the back real quick.
It would have to be something living, because like you can't have a.
It doesn't say 2 or more living persons, right?
Just says persons,
Because
because you can't ride with a dummy in the passenger seat.
I mean, but that's
not a person.
I thought
not
about
a
it.
person. Because I mean, if you're
Yeah.
a single mom with your
It
baby in the
was
back,
a person.
you could ride in
It
the carpool.
was a person.
It was a person.
So it's no longer a person.
Are they?
What?
I mean, what?
As soon as they die,
what classifies personhood?
Now they're just an idea.
Are they just an idea?
Yeah, like a legacy, like type thing.
Okay, then sign up to be a donor because after you die, you are no longer a person. You're just an idea. Thank you, Daniel.
No, James.
Thank you, Daniel.
That's manipulation.
You just activated my trap card.
I'm gonna stop talking. Anything else you guys would like to add? The
Not
noise
really.
went away. I realized.
Yeah, it went away for a while now.
Yeah, it stopped around like 18 minutes in, so hopefully
Beautiful. Hopefully people made
people
it through.
decided to, give us a chance. I don't know. If we're talking, educating people, like, yeah, the coronavirus is going on, but don't forget, Hong Kong is still
It's dangerous.
protesting.
And was it one of you last week that said that what they found in the coronavirus isn't like, it's like man-made or something like that?
No,
You're saying there's a rumor.
I heard rumors.
Oh,
that
okay.
It was man-made, and like there's like a lab in Wuhan, and there's no. It's a lab that deals with viruses, and there's no trace of it entering the country. It's coming from the country,
Oh.
but I don't know. Those are rumors I heard.
It's one thing, we hear the coronavirus and then we completely forget what's going on in China. It's
Yeah.
I don't know why the whole protest in Hong Kong thing bothers me so much, but I think about it every day that these people have been protesting for months now, almost close to a year. And the fact that there's no more news on it, there's no public things going on bothers me. And seeing like the police attack citizens and shoot them and all these things, it bothers me.
Dude, it's crazy because this is one of those things that will for sure be in history books.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those things too. It's like the government can get to this point. It can get to that point.
Yeah.
Maybe not ours soon, but it can happen.
It's always possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
So
And we're so arrogant to the idea that it'll never happen to us.
Could very well.
Yeah.
When do I know it's off topic, but when do they start making history books about the time we're in?
Who the fuck decides like who gets the
when is the
That is a good question.
who's keeping up with that? Like who's
I don't know. I really don't know.
And
Who's in
why
charge of the
why is it that, if I go to a different state, their history books might be different with different authors?
Yeah. And now who decides what goes in what?
It's
what
a mutable
goes in-
thing. It's always changing.
What
you
goes
know?
into history, Like
Yeah.
what is
The author, I
what
guess.
goes into the books?
It's always interesting I always read Reddit posts, like every now and then it'll pop up, people asking like, oh, like people from so-and-so country what did you learn in school about this topic? And it's always interesting hearing about that.
Yeah.
And like learning.
I think
the
about that
differences.
when it came to the you know, America breaking away from the British.
Mhm.
Like, what are they taught over there
Yeah.
about it? You know?
Well,
Yeah.
that was actually one of the posts, actually, now that I remember. And I think one of the responses I read was saying that they pretty much don't really talk about it. They just, it's kind of glossed over. It's like, we were this great empire. Now this is us. Now we're back to the islands.
Yeah, I think
All the badass motherfuckers went that way.
I think there's probably plenty. There's a lot of different books that target different things. So I think that's what it is. I think we're so used to the idea of like school history books.
Yeah.
That-
Another big thing, too, that I've learned just talking from people who are international, who are educated internationally or whatever, is that, like, we're really only the ones that make a big deal of the American Revolution. Like, we talk about the shot heard around the world and all this stuff. But what's funny is that literally the rest of the world, what was more like of a bigger impact to them was the French Revolution. Like, the American Revolution was just kind of our own little thing,
Yeah.
you know? But it was the French Revolution, how literally the poor stood up and took over those that were ruling,
Yeah.
the royalty. That had a bigger impact on their culture than
Yeah.
us. Because, I mean, people forget that, yeah, we had a revolution, but our founding fathers, or those who were leading that, they were the 1%. Like, they were still, like, upper class.
Yeah.
It wasn't just, you know, fucking drunks and the poor, homeless that took over. Whereas in France, it literally was that.
Yeah.
It was literally peasants decapitating royalty.
Yeah.
You
I think
know?
there's something honorable about both of them, though. You know, the idea
no,
that
yeah,
this
of course.
1% decides to go against, you know, the government that they've been
Yeah,
under for so long.
yeah.
And the French Revolution, you know, the poor are finally like,
Yeah.
fuck this shit. you know?
Yeah. No,
Wasn't
either
the-
way, there's still impact.
Wasn't the French Revolution far more bloody, too?
Oh, yeah. It was...
They just didn't give a fuck.
Dude, the French love to have revolutions, bro. It's still going, dude. Like, all of France is... People don't know about this either, but, like, all of France is on strike right now. Is like protesting. There's literally video of firefighters fighting police. Because a lot of the firefighters are
I
protesting
saw
right
that,
now.
yeah.
Dude, it's madness. Like, I know over the holidays, because Emily was in France, she was saying, like, all the train systems, it was just a disaster because all the rail workers are on strike. So there's literally like only one train in each direction open.
This is what I mean when it comes to just not just the Hong Kong thing, but there's things going on all around the world and we don't hear anything about it. That's a problem.
Don't get your news from television.
No,
because it's so narrow and biased. Like, if you know where to look online, you'll know what's going on.
it's not even news anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just reality TV.
Yeah.
Political reality TV, that's what it is.
Yeah. Like these like Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. I'm going to throw them all in there. But these networks were designed when 9/11 happened. 24/7 news cycles, you know. 24/7, and it's like they never stopped from that cuz they realized how much the public watched it, you know. But now it's to the point where it's like, why do we have these things? We don't need 24/7 news cycles where the person that has their show is saying the same exact thing the guy said an hour before him, and the guy behind him is going to say the same exact things. It's the same shit over and over again.
Oh man.
And it's crazy that it's only old people that fucking watch these things.
And it's crazy that those are the majority of people who vote.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I again, all of it's education, being aware. I think a lot of it's lacking on a lot of levels. Not just like the science field, but you know, and any important decision we make regarding the world, it is a lack of education.
Yeah.
You know, I am very excited for when November comes and we do the election day.
Is it this November?
I
Is the
think so.
election?
Right? Yeah, it would be this November.
It would be this November.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Dude,
we do the
that's gonna
election
be-
day episode.
I think it'll be a lot of fun, honestly.
I do too.
Yeah, I think
Let's
so.
just get drunk.
What are we thinking of doing?
Like
Dude.
election night, bro.
Yeah.
Like counting the votes.
Are we gonna be debating on like sides or for
Dude.
particular candidates, or
I'm down for that. Let's just see how it goes.
Shoot the shit,
we
man.
could get our research done and we can say like why this
fuck.
person, this person.
It's
That's
gonna
a lot
be
of work,
it's
but-
gonna be so much fun.
It's
And
a
then
lot of
I'll
work.
set up like, I don't know, we'll set up a laptop or an iPad or something, and we'll just watch.
Yeah.
Or hopefully by then we have live streaming figured out, so we could live stream it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
That definitely would be.
November. Okay. We'll talk after the podcast. I'm getting a bunch of ideas. We'll talk after the podcast. Yeah.
I definitely want to get into doing more debates. Like we can like split
Like doing research
two
and stuff.
two.
Yeah.
And not because we favor a side, but like let's just allocate this is your guys' argument and
Yeah.
this is our argument. And
This
then
is
we
the
just go.
subject for the episode.
Yeah, and
you're this side, we're this
yeah,
side.
and we're just, it's no bias. Like there's like you're gonna argue for these people and we're gonna argue for these
Or
people.
if you do have a bias, you have to be on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
That is-
I
yeah,
do like that.
definitely.
What we should do is we should research how like actual debates are ran, because I know like there's like methods.
We're gonna
and
need a
rules.
moderator.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna moderate very
Yeah.
well.
So that would be cool to do. Probably get more educated too, just on how to debate.
Yeah.
And so will they. So
Yeah.
will our listeners.
Dude, did you put our podcast logo on your? I like
did.
that. It's a nice touch, dude.
We're
I like
learning.
that. This looks legit, dude. Look at that frame, man. Look at that
Honestly,
frame.
we do need a round table like
We
this.
definitely need a
and
round
we
table.
need to get the logo around the table. Like that would be so.
I'm telling. We'll talk after the podcast. I'm getting
Oh,
a
I
lot
just
of
came up with
ideas,
a
man.
great idea. Okay, yeah, let's sign out.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
My episode's next, so I'll say
Okay.
last.
I'm signing off right now.
Mhm.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Like I said, it's up to you to decide to, like, first I just presented you with the materials. Now it's up to you to make that decision. And at that point, that's all we can hope for. But I'd rather I'd rather that you have the potential to make that decision. Because that seems to be the issue. I'm going on again. I'm going on.
You're good. You're good.
But anyways, thank you guys for listening. I had a good time directing this podcast. Really fun. James, Phillip, we miss you, Andy, wherever you are.
Wherever you are.
I'll also, yeah, never mind. Andy, you're not here, so. But thank you guys.
Yeah, this was a great episode. Problem solving is a skill, so try to learn that skill. It's applicable in every way in life. But life is beautiful. Look around, enjoy the colors, enjoy the flavors. Thank you for joining the circle. Once in, always in.
Yeah, I'll just carry on with what they said. It was a great episode. I look forward to the next episode because I just got an idea of what I want it to be. I'm not going to share it just in case, things don't work out, because this episode almost did not happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires, and don't let the white man get you down. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.